I was gonna do it again. I can go anywhere. Let's put it outside, see if it's open. Yeah.
Now
I can't get over.
so you're just sitting on 45 now. I got to put a pickup. Yeah. A couple of years.
No, you gotta start.
We have. Yeah, it was a big debate. My brother.
Conversion of
Now I'm trying to put a 40 in the
anyway. Usually I get 90
So I rolled the dice.
Years ago. That is never. Call this meeting to order Monday, November 5th, 7:30. Roll call, please.
King.
Here.
Delane.
Here.
Erickson.
Here.
Boone.
Here.
Schott.
Here.
Swigan. Here. Anderson.
Here. I do have a motion to adopt the agenda. There were a couple changes. We removed item number 6. We made a correction to the city on item 11, and Sioux Falls here. Is that it?
That's all I got.
I'd like to add something new business, and that's to approve an advertising for a replacement for Mike Conklin. He's obviously going to be retiring or leaving, and it's time to hire someone to come in to replace him.
Would that be a discussion item? Or
No.
Take action on it tonight?
I want it under new business. We're going to make a motion and vote on it.
It had to be displayed for.
No, it doesn't.
I'm fine with it. Is that correct, Tom?
Yes.
Not on the agenda.
It is
Have
not.
you got a resignation?
No.
No.
Am I out of order, Tom?
Well, no, typically you don't hire a replacement till the person resigned or start advertising.
Well, what we're talking about here is training,
Well, I understand that,
organization, and everything.
but typically you
And
guys.
giving him 2 weeks, the new guy, is not enough time.
2 weeks of what?
Training.
What days Mike leave?
Pardon?
What did Mike give you a date?
No.
Oh,
But he could leave anytime after the 15th of January through May. That's all we know. And I think we need to get somebody that is trained up.
Well, I'll add that the committee that would be in charge of that has met, I think, 4 times, 3 in the last 3 weeks. And we're trying to come up with a plan to facilitate that.
Okay, facilitate that, Mr. Boone, but the fact is we do need to replace the man. Am I right or wrong?
But we don't have any idea when he's leaving. He doesn't have to leave. Right, I think it's inappropriate to talk about when somebody's retiring. Because he could stay for the next 2 years if he wanted.
He has no intention of doing that, and you know it.
Yeah, but we can't replace him. And he could say that he wants to stay for 2 years and we can't do anything.
Is a committee prepared to discuss
Put it under discussion
the golf course, or do we want to put that on the agenda on November 16th or 19th?
The committee had talked that we would have something for the next meeting ready for council.
then. Okay, I withdraw my addition to the agenda.
Any other changes or additions? A motion to adopt the agenda.
Doing so moves.
Motion's made by Dwayne to adopt the agenda. Do I have a second?
Second.
Swagan is seconded. Motion's been made by Dwayne, seconded by Swagan to adopt the agenda. All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Motion carries. October 15th and the special meeting on the 22nd minutes were sent out. Everyone has had a chance to review those. Okay. Do I have a motion to approve the October 15th minutes?
Boone, so moved.
Harrison second.
Motion made by Boone, seconded by Erickson to approve the October 15th minutes. All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Do I have a motion to approve the October 22nd minutes?
Boone, so moved.
Doing second.
Motion made by Boone, seconded by Doreen to approve the October 22nd minutes. All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Public hearings, I don't believe there's anybody here. Visitors to be heard, Mr. Phil Peterson, Bedco President. Welcome.
Thank you. I'm here to request that track 7A, which is the track that the city owns, which is just west of the campground, the former campground, be transferred from the city to Bedco. We've had some interest in that piece of land. We'd like to be able to move forward with housing there. And it's tough for us to negotiate or do anything when we don't own the land. And so my request is that the city council transfer track 7A to Bedco so that it can be used for residential or multifamily housing. And I'd be glad to answer any questions you might have.
Need a motion on that? Harrison moves to deed industrial track 7A to Bedco for development purposes for housing, multifamily, and single.
Second.
Motion made by Erickson, seconded by to approve the deed request to deed industrial track 7A to Bedco. Is there any further discussion?
I guess I just, not saying that it's a bad deal, but I have been told that there's some other discussion on different options maybe out there for the city, and so maybe at this time, I'm not sure that I'm ready to go forward with eating over that land yet.
What options would there be?
Well, there's some other adjacent property, but.
I think-
In which direction? This? Well, the point is, if there's adjacent property, it's gonna go to Bedco anyway. My guess.
I guess I'm not sure how it all works, if it has to go to Bedco.
If it's gonna be for housing development, Bedco more than likely will be involved with it anyway.
Okay.
But there's no progress on that, as far as I'm aware. And she lives right next door to me, so.
To answer your question, we've made overtures, we've attempted to work something out, nothing happens.
And you have a potential, or you have a buyer already for
We have interest.
So the interest bill would be redoing the campground and making all of that then housing?
That's one option,
Wow, okay.
with access from the campground.
So if we table this to get more information, on the other options.
Is this something they could talk about in executive session? For other, there might be some other ideas there that have come forward, so.
Would that be on the property, or what would that?
Well, I don't think, I mean, you're just disposing of potential surplus property. I don't think there's any contract negotiations or proprietary information.
I think it relates to adjacent property.
What's that?
I think it relates to adjacent property.
So I don't know what I don't think you fall under any criteria under executive session for that.
That particular parcel line sits kind of isolated. And, we have no access to it at the current time. Right. So I'd like to ask Mr. Peterson what plans you have in mind.
Well, again, it's in response to, interest that has been shown in it. And, the interest, as I indicated, would be access from the east through the campground. As you say, as it sits now, it's isolated and on its own.
Well, I don't see any problem transferring it to Edco for housing development.
Well, I guess
We
I'd like,
need land available, and if they have someone interested, and if they do, which I have no reason to not believe, we need room for development. And there may be other parcels around somewhere, but, I don't see any problem with moving forward with this.
Well, to us, it's a worthless piece of ground as it sits right now.
Yes.
Well, I've had talks, as recently as today, that would make that piece of property have pretty significant value. And the overtures I think you're talking about are a little different. Can't say.
Bedco certainly isn't, set on one developer over another by any means, you know.
I think it'd be nice if we had a few weeks to let another option be considered. And if that were to not occur, then look at the Bedco transfer. I mean, just literally a couple weeks, 2 to 4 at the most.
There's a motion on the floor, however, and a second.
Any further discussion? Okay, hearing no further discussion, all in favor of requesting, or to approve the requested deed industrial tract 70 to Bedco, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Nay. It was 2 to 4. Motion fails.
Can we,
Do roll call.
we get, who voted what way?
Do I do roll call?
King,
Aye.
Deline,
Nay.
Erickson,
Aye.
Moon,
Nay.
Shet,
Hey.
Swagen. What did you?
Can I ask what options we might have in addition to this?
I can't say at this point,
Then why bring it up?
because I just don't think it's.
The point is, we have a chance to move a piece of property that's been there for years.
Is it right, Tom? Is discussion over? The vote's
Ready
ready.
to go over, yeah.
Yeah, it's over. That's it. Next.
So I asked a point of question.
No, it's over. We
I
voted.
asked a point of question.
Okay. Next item, number 7, committee and mayor reports. I have nothing. Are there any committee reports? Nothing. Old business, resolution 2018-9, Bridges Golf Course fees. Should have had an update in front of you there. We had a couple, small corrections that we made, from the original that you would have received in your packet. The updated one is correct. I had to do the preset and like bridges, so we're okay to go forward with that updated resolution that you had to follow you when you got here tonight.
This one that we got, Jerry, is that the one with the air in it that's gone now?
The one that you would have had stapled together is the correct one.
Okay.
So, yeah, that's all comes directly off of Mike's recommendation, Tony's recommendation.
Just need a resolution or
We just need a motion to adopt and
So we make a motion to adopt resolution 2018-09, set bridges golf course fee.
That second.
motion made by Sagan, seconded by Schott to approve resolution 2018-09, 2019 golf course fees. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Attorney General opinion regarding the bidding for the water tower.
Last spring sometime, we requested Attorney General's opinion. I know that Jeff had been approached by, what's the company's name?
Suez,
Suez,
McGuire.
about doing a 10-year maintenance contract that included painting the water tower and annual inspections and some periodic clean outs, those sorts of things. And I've gone round and round with the legal folks at Suez and said, I think we gotta put that out for public bids under the state statutes. And they said, no, we think it's professional services, and then they thought it was equipment repair, like a pay motor you're repairing or something. And so we requested the Attorney General's opinion, and they came back and said they felt that that needed to be put out to public bid, so. That's kind of where it leaves it. I guess obviously you're not going to get done this summer, but assuming I have to look at putting together some plans and specifications as to what it is you want done and put those out for public bid sometime, if the work's going to be done next year, for example.
That, the inspection they did, since you're here, Jeff, was that an estimate on there too, or was that just an inspection? That
well,
like
with
20-page packet thing that we got?
Yeah, when Nicole Grassman came down and talked to us, Jerry, she was laying out what they were gonna do. They were going to repair everything, and then we were gonna make yearly payments. It was gonna go on to, it was gonna be, it's not a contract to repair the tower, maintenance agreement.
Right.
So, and that maintenance agreement could run as long as we wanted it to run. They couldn't cancel it, we'd have to cancel it.
And that's what we can't do, right?
Well, the premise of the contract primarily was to get painted. I mean, that was gonna be but then they were spreading the payments out, and it was just a way to mask, or I thought to get around the bidding requirements for the painting. Now, once it's painted, if they wanna come in and do a maintenance agreement, you're gonna be under the bid limits, I would imagine, by quite a ways, but. Or when you bid it out, if you wanna put some specifications together as to what that might look like but the overall project's gonna be well over the $50,000 bid limit you have.
But for Jeff, underneath the street department, we do have a line item for 50,000, is that correct?
Yeah.
In the budget this year?
And it
That
is,
we,
go ahead.
that we have put on a line item?
Yeah.
Correct?
Yeah.
So the point is if we have that on a line item and we don't do the project this year, we can still transfer it to savings in the year for earmark for repairs and
Just have to do a budget amendment.
Right.
And Elaine, you usually do some of those year end anyway, don't you? If you know there's some modifications that.
So I guess if the Attorney General has said that we need to go with the bidding process, I mean, we still have it in a line item. So we can just worry about it in 2020, start the bidding process, and then.
I think you have to start getting the specifications together, probably be
Well, so Alliance Nebraska kind of had the same thing that we've got going on, and so I looked at their proposal or specifications on what they wanted done to their tower. Did Pat see?
Well, that's been a long time ago, Jeff. I didn't look at Alliance's specs since we started.
Yeah, I thought Pat looked at it and he said, looks good to me. So if that's something that they can use, maybe you can get away from having engineering fees on top of this. You know, if they want to go over it again and look at it, you know.
What kind of time frame are these companies looking at from when they get a bid till when they can actually do the work?
Well, are you saying that we can do an FRP or RFP? Like
Well, that's up to council how they want to go about it. Somehow you're gonna have to have design specifications, so people are bidding apples to apples. And I assume you're talking probably, most likely the two companies that will do the bidding on it, but there could be others.
There's a third one that's already came in and asked about it too, so.
Is that one out of Omaha then?
Well, yeah.
Did they leave any paperwork or?
Yeah, they're just waiting to see what the Attorney General's opinion is.
Oh, okay.
And they want to be included, obviously.
Yeah.
The guy worked for McGuire before, so he's well aware of what the project, so.
Yeah.
I guess that's what I was getting at, there'd be,
At least 3 people I'd be interested in.
so if you know, we're what, 6-8 months behind where we were when the initial thing came out, it's not gonna be 3 or 4 years down the road, probably.
I assume you'd have time between now and sometime shortly after the first year to get your specs together and get it bid out, so you get something done right away next
I
spring.
think you can put the thing out there in January and whoever gets the bid, they can start working on it when the weather breaks in the spring.
I just got a couple questions. Okay, now on this bid, we gotta have liability insurance bond. If they don't perform the work right, then we.
You have performance bond, you got a payment bond.
Right, cause I wanna make sure we don't hire, you got bids and then someone says, well, my paint, it's the best paint. They paint it 2 years later, it's peeling all over the place.
That's why you want to have specifications, so.
Right. So on your specs, what are you trying to say, how long you want the paint to last, right? The durability a little bit, 5, 10, 20 years?
So
That's what I would
Suez, the last time that the tower was painted was in '92. That's when they took the coating off of it because it had lead in it. And then what you see is what you get. We had it washed, maybe power washed 5 years ago, maybe.
So what's your spec as far as the years of service for the paint? If it's not lead, are we gonna get kind of sort of the same amount of time, or are we gonna be short on that?
Well, what they say now is that you're lucky to get 15 years out of a paint job before you have to recoat it. And then there's only a mil of 30 mil is the thickness that you're allowed before they gotta take it all off again, but you can recoat if it needs to be touched up after that. Right now, there's probably, I think, 8 mil on it, so there's several coatings that can be put on it yet before it needs to be sandblasted, which is, that gets spendy.
So your specs are gonna come around, what, 15 years maybe?
Well, that's what they're saying, but, the last paint job has lasted since '92.
Yeah, well, that's why I'm asking you a question as far as how many years are you gonna try to get out of it?
Well, they're saying if you can get 15, you're lucky. 12 to 15 is what you should expect out of a paint job now.
And so we're gonna say 15 and then have good liability insurance if it doesn't last.
Well,
That's a warranty issue, not necessarily liability.
Yeah.
Warranty.
Question.
What Suez was proposing was this maintenance thing that they were gonna come and inspect every year if something needed to be, if there was a weld that had cracked on the ladder or lid or, they were just gonna keep checking everything and, once they get it rehabilitated, I would I highly doubt that there's any, the only thing I could see would be happening is if a windstorm tried removing the antennas again.
Alright.
You know,
So if we have a contract and get it painted, what, you're saying if we gotta bid it, but the maintenance ongoing would be underneath that limit.
I'm sure that would be under the 50,000 to do a maintenance agreement.
So,
well, wasn't Suez's deal that they were gonna take 50,000, and I think that's what, so they were gonna do all of the work, 350,000.
They can't, they're just trying to avoid bidding.
Well, that's Nicole Grassma, she called me after, the Attorney General thing, she saw, somebody brought that up to her. And she stated that they're doing the same thing in all 48 states. And if I remember correctly, there were only one or two that had the same questions that we have. And they spoke to the Attorney General and the Attorney General in those two states, and I don't know which ones they were, but they were able to sway their opinion, and it's maintenance agreement. So I don't know. She said that they were gonna be talking to the AG and Pierre and whatever happens then happens, I guess. I don't know. I have no idea. So.
but as it stands right now, without something changing, we have to have a competitive bid for the painting. And it would probably be to our advantage to get a maintenance contract outside of that process, because if it's under the limit, we can pick who we want to perform the maintenance.
Right.
Correct.
Right.
The specs that you have in the lines, would they give us a jump start on writing ours?
I would think so. The ones that I have, yeah, I've got printed off 5 copies if anybody wants to see them.
We can put on the next agenda, I think, for authorizing. If that's something, we can have Pat take a look at that, to see if that's something that they could piggyback off of.
Yeah.
If not, we probably have to have someone else take it, or maybe they have to write a set of specs for us or something like that. I think we've got some time here that we can put that together. So let's take a look at those tomorrow, and we can get a hold of Pat and see if you can take a look at them with us.
All right.
Sounds good to me.
Do we need a motion on that at all? We just leave it where it is. Next item, broker's opinion on value of the Beresford Municipal Liquor Store building.
You guys should have a copy of what the Jensen Agency provided to us, and I know that that Mark and Brad Hanson worked together to put this cost for you to review. I think they think with the off-street parking drive-up window value would be $65,000 to $70,000. That's for the building. Any attached items on the inside, meaning the walk-in cooler, the existing bar, back bar, those type of things. This does not include any other equipment inside there, like any shelving, maybe anything, refrigerators, things like that. But that'll give you an idea. I did talk to Woody Howler. He was supposed to put one together also, and just off the top of his head, he was saying 55 to 60. I don't have anything, so I apologize for that, but he was going to put something together last week, and I did not see anything from him.
So it's up to us then to determine what the inside stuff's worth?
Yeah. There's not a whole lot in there. We do, tables and chairs is probably one. We probably got a couple of coolers in there. I would assume for beer, probably a refrigerator, and then a couple other coolers for the off sale in there. I know there's a safe and some chairs and desks, things like that. Most of it would be inventory then on top of that.
If the price was in the $60,000 to $70,000 range, would that include liquor license, or is that something that's?
We asked them to not include anything like that in there. That's That's a totally separate other building.
What was the last license and transfer? How long ago was it? What was the value of that?
We don't really know the value of them, I guess, Nathan. I mean, that was, I think the last one that was sold was the VFW Legion to Classics. And as far as value, we renew them the same amount, they're gonna pay us the same amount in Beresford when they go to renew them, but we don't know the value.
So it's just
Most of what they put on the value of that license when we did is, when they purchased it, it was just an all-in-one kind of a deal.
Has the committee met to discuss anything more about the liquor store building operations? Do we know what's financially right now, where it's sitting?
I'd just like to bring up one point at this time. And when the committee did meet, we got, which has been quite some time ago, we got numbers, I believe, from Jerry and everything, showing that there were 5 years where it lost money. Now, the liquor store at that particular time had $309,000 between passbook savings and checking. And $250,000 of that was taken. He agreed to donate it at Mr. Delene's request to the swimming pool. And that is sitting in the checking account for the liquor store and could have been placed to make up for the losses that occurred there in about an 8-year period. I think there were 5 of them, if I remember correctly. So,
Placed where, Tom? Like
Pardon?
placed where, like in investments to help?
no,
earn
they
income,
had, 59,000 in checking and I don't know how much in savings, but anyway, it was, total of $309,000, $250,000 was taken out of there. But that money could have been used, and a lot of it still remains to make up for what we're pushing as losses from the liquor store.
You can't take cash and make up a loss though. A loss or?
Well, forget the CPA stuff. I'm just saying that, you know, the place made money those years, and it's worth something.
To make money, your operations brings in money and it spends money.
Yes, but there was, I looked at the same thing, Teresa, and it never shows how this money accumulates. It shows it on the profit sheet as 10,000, but then I went through this with Elaine and found out, okay, then it's pulled out of there and put into checking or passbook savings. And she showed me the line item where that was done. So what we received there was not actually a true picture of what was really going on with the liquor store. Being brought up there.
Are you talking past year's profit? Is that what you're saying?
It could have been past year's profit or from the beginning the video lottery was started. This was video lottery fund.
Right.
And
So you're saying, just so I'm clear, you're saying, according to what you found, there was approximately 300,000 that had accumulated over an unknown number of years.
right,
Some of that money went to the pool to help pay for the
That was
pool.
video lottery money from the initiation of video lottery.
And right now, there's, according to you, approximately 60,000, 59,000, something like that, still there.
mm-hmm.
So I think that's where I think the committee needs to look at how is the business doing now? Because what happened 10 years ago doesn't make any difference anymore. We need to figure out where the thing is going last year and this year and you know, the future years.
I don't disagree with you, Mayor.
So that's where I
I
think,
just wanted to state what was really going on in financial status, the liquor store.
Like video lottery, when you look at the past revenue, it used to be $30,000-$40,000 a year, and now it's dwindled down to about $9,000 or $10,000. And that is probably never coming back. So that's
You're telling me, Mayor, you want to sell the liquor store and business and get rid of it?
No, I think we need to look at how we're running it so that we don't lose money. And I think the committee should be responsible, and I think when we met several months ago, you were tasked with going out and inventorying what the liquor store needed to bring it up, to fix things, the heating, the ventilation, the parking lot, the fixtures on the outside and the inside, so that if we were to keep it and run it, that it's running as a proper business. And that also includes looking at the finances this year and next year, so we know where we're going. Has any of that occurred?
We've asked Dee for a list of improvements, equipment, building improvements, and she has not replied to us.
Could we do one last attempt for the meeting on either the 19th or I'm not sure what the first meeting would be in December, the first meeting. First meeting in December. Nobody has any preconceived notions of what we need to do, but we need to figure out where we are today and where this thing is going. Because we cannot talk about what happened 20 years ago because it's not relevant. So I think the committee needs to come back with some legit numbers of where this business is sitting and where it's going to go in the future. And then we need to make a decision from the council of what we're going to do.
If one of you can work with Dee, I'll work with Elaine to get financials for our meeting, and then we can go
I just got one question.
well, either
Yes, sir.
you two, one of you two
On
is
this
gonna
liquor-
walk through the building and figure out what we need. or-
On this liquor tax, it was voted in to go to the liquor store because the golf course wasn't built at that time, right? The sales tax, you know, for the beer and the alcohol. So now-
2% that you're talking about, Art, is,
The 2 and 9.
that was deducted, at least I deducted it
Okay.
from the spreadsheet that I got
Okay, that's what I
as
was,
city money.
right, okay.
That's
all
where I
was
left
asking.
it and adjusted the numbers accordingly.
Okay, that was a fair answer, I appreciate that, thanks for being honest.
So basically, what I'm hearing is the liquor store itself, the building is not worth a whole great deal of money. $60,000 to $70,000 is, I mean, honestly, it's not much. So we need to figure out where this thing is going a year or 2 years from now. What do the numbers look like? If it can be profitable, if it can generate enough to sustain itself, to also have some improvements based on the financials as they are today. And I think we need to know that. But if the committee doesn't think that that's possible in the environment that we're in right now, then I think we need to know that too. I think that's fair to ask. Any further discussion?
Thank you for bringing the value to us, Jerry, and we appreciate that step. So we knew kind of what the value was.
Next item, part-time wages for snowplow drivers. Jeff?
I spoke about that, his name escapes me now. Anyway, he called me back and,
James.
yeah, James Byrne, thank you. And he has declined it now. So I called and talked to Don Hubert today, and, as long as his schedule, he does, CDL testing. And as long as he didn't have something scheduled for testing, that he didn't have a problem coming in. As far as money, he said, what it is, it'll be what it'll be, he said. So he wasn't giving me a number. So if you were thinking 15 to 17, is what the state's getting, I guess I'd lean to the 17. Otherwise, I don't think 19 is out of that. You know, I doubt we're going to utilize him very much. The only time we would need him is if somebody is sick or gone. Good thing about him is he's already had prior experience, so he knows the streets. And there's no training with him. He's done it before. And if that's worth anything, then, you know, maybe 19 is not a blind.
What do you think is appropriate?
I think 19 is probably fair enough. I told him, I said, we're not gonna, it's not something that every snowstorm he's gonna have to come in. You know, the only time I think we would, because we can utilize during the day, we can do our plowing, from 2 o'clock on, and then when we start hauling the snow, Jay is usually pretty good about, letting one of his guys go to either run one of the trucks or push up at the pile. That's the only time we really need 5 people is when we're hauling and then somebody's gotta push up. And it has been that we'll haul so many loads and then loader just breaks off and goes pushes it up too. So I told Don, I said, if this isn't something that, you know, unless we start having a whole bunch of snow and need the extra help, we probably, you know, we won't be calling him that often. So I think he was fine with that.
So would it be not during normal hours, Jeff?
Yeah.
Or are we talking like 5 AM
No.
before 8 o'clock?
I would say we'd be starting with him probably at 8 o'clock. Certainly not before 8 o'clock, because by the time we do all of our routes, you know, it's probably 8:30, 9 o'clock.
I was just asking the hour because, you know, currently if we bring in our staff before 8 AM, there's a different pay scale, is what I'm saying, versus once 8 AM begins.
Yeah.
When snow removal is going on. So that's why I asked why you were requesting 19.
Well, but in the, you know, there haven't been, I can't think of any time that somebody hasn't shown up because they were sick, since I've been here. And that would be the only thing, is if we were short somebody and, you know, and if he's unavailable, there'll be 3 of us, it'll just take that much longer. Everybody else chip in and take a third that other route. So, yeah, so whatever you decide, that wasn't a deal breaker to him, that 19. I just thought that was what I thought was probably fair. You know, he's got experience, there's no training, you know, should you put him in a loader, you can put him in a truck. But, you know, I wouldn't want to do that with, James, you know, giving him, he's getting 19 where he's at now, but, you know, I guess I don't know exactly what he's running. You know, he could be running around with a 4-wheeler for all I know, I guess, but, you know, that's not 19, but,
So do we still utilize, Bill Seaver for snow removal, or
yeah, he's gone.
he's going
Yeah.
south? Okay, I didn't know how that worked. Okay. Need a motion?
Well, it's up to you guys, whatever you want, whatever you think is fair, you know, I'm going for it.
And my main point is, Daryl hit it on the money, is, Bill's gone for the winter, and this is gonna be discreetly used as
Yeah.
like an emergency, it's not gonna be a daily call-in.
Yeah.
And he knows his business, he knows how to run the equipment, knows all the
Yeah.
machines, you don't have to show him.
Well, so how many months was he,
No, he's a good guy, no.
Yeah. I mean, but he's been in the street department, and that was basically, that was during the winter, wasn't it? Yeah.
So, yeah, he knows his business.
So it was during the winter, and then was gone by spring, so, and Don's a good guy. You know, he's not gonna be tearing up equipment. If anybody knows him here, they know what I'm talking about.
So is there a motion?
Shall make a motion for part-time for snow removal plow drivers, Hubert at $19 an hour, part-time, only low hours as needed. For the street department, city of Beresford, South Dakota.
Second?
Erickson second.
Motion made by Schott, seconded by Erickson to approve part-time wages, $19 per hour for Don Hubert. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. New business, 2019 liquor license renewals.
So the time has come to renew the 2019 alcoholic beverage license, and Burt's Classics, Fiesta Foods, and the Dollar General, along with the Bridges and the liquor store, have all submitted their applications. I have received operating agreements from all of them except the Dollar General. We're conversing back and forth, but they have all submitted their fees. Everything is in.
Need a motion? Shot, make a motion for 2019 liquor license renewals as Elaine Johnson stated for the city of Beresford, South Dakota for the year 2019.
Motion made by Schott, seconded by Swagen to approve 2019 liquor license renewals. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Asphalt surface treatment contract extension.
Yeah, I'll probably have Tom help me with this a little bit, but we're not gonna get the asphalt surface treatment done this year. We've got some of the red rock is here, it's been hauled, so we wanna pay for that. And what our hopes is that they will renew, they will continue on with the same contract that we have this year for next year. We're just gonna increase the amount by, what we had budgeted for next year, so. Tom, have you had a chance to look any further?
No, but they ran into weather issues where they couldn't get all their stuff done, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
They got behind.
Yeah.
And so I know they're also doing the same thing in Alcester. They use a different process, but I think it's the same company. So they're extending the contract to allow the work to be completed next year. And then they're honoring that price for the 2019 portion as well.
I spoke to him about it, and he said he would honor this contract, the balance, what's remaining on this contract for this year, for next year, and then.
So the same prices.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll have to amend the contract that we received from them to reflect the increased quantity and also to allow for the completion of that work next year.
Need a motion?
Erickson moves to approve the asphalt treatment contract extension.
Shot second.
Motion made by Erickson, seconded by Schott. Is there further discussion?
I just wanted to make a comment, like Gerald had made earlier, that we're not gonna use the 50,000 that we put in the budget for the water tower. Do we now need to save whatever was put aside this year for asphalt treatment? Do we need to put that in, earmark it into savings for
No.
next year?
The balance, they hold in $22,000 worth of the chips, so the balance of that is, we need to carry over for next year.
Okay, so we need to put that in.
Yeah.
Okay.
Does that need to be in the motion?
Did you want to include that in this set of
In what?
in this
Well-
tonight's bills?
Well, if you guys wanna pay for it,
So that's the rock.
yeah. Do you guys wanna pay, the chips that have been hauled in, and he sent a bill.
Do we need to wait until we get the extension?
We could just do that as part of the extension. We'll just do an agreement with them and cover that payment coming now and then balance in 19. So we can get that ready for the next meeting. Authorized to drop the contract for the extension for 18 into 19 and then 19, same prices, so.
Yeah.
So that's what the
That's
motion.
what the motion is.
Okay.
So the motion's been made to draw up the contract extension, as has been discussed, made by Erickson, seconded by Schott. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Snow removal policy modification, resolution 2018-10.
Jeff and I, Larry, Wayne, Tom, we've all been talking a little bit about this. What happens is when they do the alert, the snow removal alert, that's usually put on first thing, hopefully by the 6 o'clock news and the 10 o'clock news, and we try to get it out on Facebook and everything. And you still have 10, 15, 20 people that don't get their cars off there by the 2 o'clock deadline. So at 2 o'clock, we start ticketing and tow. We have been ticketing and towing them at that time. And there's times that we may not get in front of their house till 6 o'clock in the morning, depending on how much snow is there, and their car was already gone. So we get a lot of people coming to the city hall and chewing the girls out down here. So we think, well, maybe there's a better way to do this. And one of the things we looked at was maybe increasing the fines for people that are parking and then just plow around them. I think that once you plow around, if you got 10, 12 inches of snow, it's gonna be more work for them to get their car out than you have to go pick it up that it's been towed. This way the car is sitting there for them in the morning when they have to get up to go to work at 6 o'clock. It's not down here at Carlson's or wherever we tow it to. They can just, it'll still be there. We'll just plow around it. We'll have to go back and plow again. The reason for asking for a larger amount of fines. So what we want to do is rather than fine $25, we're looking at a $75 fine. If they pay within the first 72 hours, that would increase up to $100 if they pay it after that time, and if it isn't paid within 2 weeks, I believe. Does that sound right? Then it goes up to $125. So we won't be, but this still gives the option to tow somebody. I mean, in the event that they're causing a, if it's been sitting there for an extended period of time, we can still go in and tow that. If they're making no effort to move it, but we think this might be a better option. The car's going to be there. We're going to tow around it. You know, we do this with 2 to 3 inches of snow, so sometimes there's not a lot of snow out there. They could have got the car, but in order to be consistent, the officers go around and anyone that's parked out there, and once we've declared the emergency, they're going to tow them. It's not fun to be in City Hall. At least the girls don't like it much in the morning when they're coming in looking for their cars, and we're getting calls all the time. They get pretty irate when they have to go over and pay the towing fee along with our fines. So we think this is another option. The car's going to be there. They may have to plow, dig some snow out around it. As long as Jeff doesn't hit the cars as he's going around, but most of them will probably be moved by the time it comes back around. And then we always go back out anyhow. We have to go back out and push snow back wherever it's blowing in, things like that. So
So I can't push the car up onto the curb now?
I guess that does bring up a point though. Is that gonna cause us any problems getting around a lot of cars, like on 3rd Street?
That's a no parking.
downtown will.
Well, no,
this
I
will
mean,
stay the same.
like
It's
the
just
boulevard
part of the
area down there.
Yeah, that's usually always open. The boulevard seems like that's always open. You'll get an odd, I'll get an odd. My route is Main and then out in the industrial area and Grandview and Sunset, once in a while. I don't have a problem with it. Keith, if you hear him on the radio, I might have had 3 cars, he's got 1, and holy shit, anyway, I don't see a problem with it. The only thing would be is if it sits there long enough that now it starts to melt, you got an ice pack there, I guess we could get that off, but I don't think it's gonna happen that often. Once,
I guess that's my
Maybe an
point.
abandoned car, it is probably.
yeah, I like the idea that instead of towing them too, because somebody probably gets towed that would have been moved anyway, not that they should have been parking there, but, you don't know when you're gonna get by there, but if it's not till 6 o'clock,
And I guess that's my question. Are we gonna tow any period? I mean, if it's there for 3 days, then at what point
It'll
do
be
we
a
have
case
an
by
option?
case basis, I think, Troy. And we'll when we do an article, we'll talk about that in the article. We'll have to put something on. This isn't gonna be effective right away. We've got the stuff already published on the website. We've already put it in paper what the current stuff is. So if we change this, it's gonna take, we won't be able to publish till the 15th, I think, and then 20 days after. So it'll be some early December before we start going this route. But
Because we already have an ordinance for parking seasonally, or is it year round if you don't move a vehicle?
downtown, I think.
Downtown year-round.
Yeah, the downtown district is, you can't park Friday mornings.
right.
And then it's
Snow
like
first.
November 1 to April 1, though, it's
all
overnight,
Yeah,
2 AM to 6 AM, I think.
So we need to
We
adjust.
do have something though, if you don't move within 72 hours. Cause I remember Jeff brought that one, and I don't know if that's specifically trailers or if it was I think it was any vehicle.
That's what I'm getting at. Do we need to check that so that if we ticket, that's one thing, but then make sure the ordinance is aligned so that we have the authority, if this were approved, to then subsequently tow something.
I guess that was my point, is if we tow somebody after 2 days, are they gonna be mad if we didn't wait 3 or 4? You know what I mean?
Then you don't care.
What's that?
After 2 days, you probably don't care.
That would be my take on it, somebody will.
Well, a lot less room to complain after a couple days. I understand if they get a ticket at 2 and towed, when they go out to get their car and Jeff hasn't been there yet, they might not be real pleased.
Alright,
Can't you modify this where it says, paid $75, will be ticketed or towed and, fined at the same time? Is it possible to modify a line or two right now, or is it too much trouble?
Do whatever pleases the
I kinda
council.
agree with Troy. I think if you got the day in there, I think it'd be way, way better off. that, You will be ticketed or towed.
We gotta do both. Cause even if they get towed, they get a ticket, but it's a nominal fine to come into the city and pay. And then they pay the towing company the towing charges.
I'd like to see something added on here where, kind of like what Art's getting at, I think, what you're saying, Charlie.
I'm kind
Like
of
adding a
nervous
sentence
if you
here where we
told
say,
somebody and there ends up into a lawsuit, they're gonna say, well, that wasn't written that way.
if after a certain number of days, 72 hours, whatever it is, so it's all one place, so somebody doesn't have to search and find it.
The city has the right to tow it after every day.
They got the right to do it anytime after a snow emergency right now. That would not change.
I think it might be excessive.
The authorization,
Somebody, but then the next person down, you're gonna ticket and tow, so they're gonna get a $100 towing fee and a $75 fine, where the next person might just get a $75 fine.
I think what they're saying is they're not gonna do that. The enforcement would be the ticketing.
yeah.
Okay, I mean, as long as they're not gonna tow any, because if we start towing them, then that's gonna cause a problem. Just my take on it.
What's my question on this, if it's a snowstorm or something, and someone's parked like on an angle 5 feet out, one way or another, and Larry says, hey, we gotta tow this car off, it's blocking the street. Cause in the winter, sometimes you see the cars, they're like 4 feet from the curb. I mean, not too many, but once in a while, there's 1 or 2 parked on an angle on a corner or something, and it's 4 o'clock in the morning. You can't, if he starts coming down with his plow, he's gonna tear it up like no tomorrow. So is that an exception, other than?
We already have an ordinance in place for ticketing and towing.
Right.
This, to me, is a resolution to just adjust our fees
Okay, yeah,
related to the ticketing.
we have something in place for the towing already, right?
It's a separate portion of the ordinance that authorizes the towing.
All right,
We
okay, all
already
right.
have it.
This is increasing the fines and the fines that come into City Hall and pay, with the idea that you brought a break, you're gonna pay a bigger fine, but you're not having to go down to Carlson's or out to Jet and get your vehicle.
Right.
We left it there for you.
Got it.
I think what Larry has said, they do the ticketing and
Yeah.
they usually call people, say, come get your car, or we're gonna tow it.
Yeah.
And then Elaine and Patty and Renee and Kathy get the complaints. Jerry closes his door those mornings. But, you're still authorized to do it under the ordinance. The ordinance says by resolution, you can change the fees associated with, snow removal violations. That's what this does.
Okay, this is just changing, we're changing the fee,
Changing
we're
the
not
fee.
changing the ability to tow it.
Correct.
Gotcha.
Is there a motion?
Can you make a motion to pass resolution number 2018-10?
Boone said.
Motion made by Kane, seconded by Boone to approve resolution 2018-10. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Legends of Gold request rezone.
Yeah, I think, Tom brought that up, but they just made a request to rezone their property out there from ag to plan development. It's never been done, it's a new thing that the county has put in place, Lincoln County's put in place, so as they, are looking to put in that, large, facility out there, recreational facility, they thought, that it would make sense to be planned development, so it's within a mile of the city limits, so they just want you guys to be aware of it, and, there's gonna be a couple of readings up there to do such, I think it's a couple times it has to be, brought before the planning people up there, and then they will go ahead and make a motion to approve, so, I mean, it's just letting you guys know that something's going on out there, so they can build their new building.
And that's probably was incorrectly zoned for a lot of years, like when it was a nursing home and
School.
orphanage, and ever since it's been zoned, it's been ag, so.
Next item, part-time hire at the Bridges Golf Course and the Event Center.
Mike Conklin was in, and Tony Warwick would be willing to help us out. He's got quite a few events here that Tony had worked on previously. We would like to put him on at $15 an hour for events set up. So these are the events that he's already booked, mostly weddings, those type of things, setting up tables. Mike said he just cannot do that on his own. So Tony is the one that would typically do that. And then if you approve that, if he does any bartender work, which would be seldom, he would like an $11 an hour wage for bartending. So $15 an hour for events set up, and if he was to be a bartender or help out on that side, it'd be $11 an hour.
What are our other part-timers out there?
Oh, some are up to 10 or 11. What is I think Deb's about $15 an hour, isn't she?
10.
Deb is?
Melissa Eastman's probably been there longer. She's the same as Deb.
To pay somebody $11 an hour to bartend and get tips on top of it, I'm sorry, that's high.
I just got one question. How come Mike didn't come to the committee? He never told me nothing
That's
about
our
that.
new process, isn't it, Art?
No, but I kinda agree with Teresa and Troy. I mean, we're a committee, we should have some type of if someone came to Jerry should get a common courtesy call us immediately within 24 hours if there was something that's gonna be put on the agenda.
Well, I think this committee thing's got a little overblown. Myself, this is a simple part-time hire for the council to either yay or nay. And we don't need to wait for 2 more meetings to hire Tony. Till you guys have time to meet. So I don't think the committee needs to get involved.
They called me, I was there,
I make a motion to hire Tony Larvick at $15 an hour for event center setup and $11 an hour for bartending work and working in the clubhouse.
8 seconds.
Motion made by Erickson, seconded by Kane. Any further discussion? Hearing none, $15 an hour for setup, $11 an hour for bartending. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
You do a roll call then?
I think so.
Kane,
Aye.
Dwayne,
Nay.
Erickson,
Aye.
Boone,
Nay.
Schott,
Nay.
Swedman, nay. Four yes, 2.
So we are gonna hire Tony.
I have no problem hiring Tony. It's the pay rates that I have an issue with.
We just paid a guy $19 an hour to drive a truck.
Yeah,
And we're paying
George,
librarians $13.50 an hour. We are all over the place, so to
Exactly.
argue this is really ridiculous.
Our part-time wage schedule is a mess. Absolute mess. Somebody comes in, demands $15 an hour, we do it. You know, just because they want it. We have no schedule, no advancement procedures in our part-time, wage schedule. We just throw numbers out in the air and you don't think it's right. I think it's totally fair. You know, so there we sit. The vote's been taken, the motion made, and seconded, and defeated. So,
can the committee contact Mike and do a quick meeting in the next couple of days?
Wow, me.
Absolutely.
Step pay increase for Nate Gold, City Hall.
Renee is up for her scheduled pay increase. Elaine has approved the recommendation to take Renee from $18.79 to $19.29 an hour. like a motion to go ahead and do that. 1929.
They moved to, approve step pay increase for Renee Giltz to 1929 per hour.
Boone, second.
Motion made by Boone, seconded, or made by Delaney, seconded by Boone to approve the 1929 per hour for Renee Goltz. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Step pay increase and removal from probationary status for Officer Dylan Nelson.
Dylan is up, I guess now we got 6 months in with us. Larry would like to put him on a full-time status. Said he's been doing a good job. We'd like to move him from $18.98 to $19.51 an hour.
Can I make a motion to give step pay increase, move from probationary status? Mr. Nelson from the police department from 1898 to 1951, as Jerry stated.
Erickson, second.
Motion made by Scott, seconded by Erickson
I have a question.
to approve Dylan Nelson at $19.51 an hour. Any additional comments?
Yes, is he certified yet?
He was certified when we hired him, I believe.
Okay.
Oh, we haven't hired any non-certified that I'm aware of.
Okay.
Good.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Discussion informational items, the shingles at the clubhouse.
Okay. Just want to give you guys an update on this. We had a leak around one of our vents, and the rubber gasket was kind of leaking up around there. And Mike had called someone to take a look at it. And they went up, and once they got on the roof, they thought that the shingles were in very poor shape and were cracking and needed some attention. So I had Jay Nordquist get up on there also, and he took a look and took a bunch of pictures. I agree that the shingles are cracking pretty much right down on the horizontal line, especially on the south side, maybe not as bad on the north side, but obviously it's a 50-year shingle. We put them on in early 2007, so there's a little over 11 years on those shingles. So we do have a representative from Tamco coming down tomorrow. We have started the warranty process on that. We don't know exactly what they'll say, but they're going to get up on the roof tomorrow, take a look at it, and we're going to deal with the warranty people and see what we can get done out there. It's a very large roof, and obviously we upgraded from a 40-year to a 50-year shingle. It cost about $2,500 to $3,000 more just for the product when we did that. So we were thinking that we were going to get a useful life of quite a bit longer than what we have out there right now. So we're hoping for a good settlement. I think we'll see what they say. So I just want you guys to be aware that we're talking about it. We are looking at it right now.
Questions, comments? Handicap accessible doors at the clubhouse?
Yeah. A lady called me after the last supper they had. I guess it would be about 2 suppers ago, and said she was unable to get inside the building because the doors were both closed and she could not get them open. So she was concerned that we have a public facility there. She was not able to get inside the building. So I told her I'd bring it up to the city council, let you guys know that there is a concern out there. This is my first notice. This is the first time I've heard from anyone that was concerned or could not get in the clubhouse anyhow. So I said we'd take a look at it. I do have some information from Jane. She has got one handicapped accessible door at the library. So we will probably just try to get some cost estimates to see what it would do. But I want you guys to know that we are going to look at that. And we'll bring some information forward, and maybe there might even be some dollars available for handicapped accessibility through a grant program. So we're going to look at all those different options and continue to move forward with at least getting you guys an idea what our cost might be to do that.
Those are double doors.
They are double doors.
That's hard to get in.
They stick.
Could we look at other buildings in the city and just maybe take a peek and make sure we've got some options? Other
We
places?
have a lot of issues.
I think we should know about it. Whether it's expensive or not. I think it's just, I think we can start budgeting and fix things. It's not right to wait until somebody has an issue getting into a building to fix it. So.
Is what, 42 inches? It's supposed to be for handicap. I'm not sure the number there.
Next item, rebel site winter hours.
Again, just informational for you guys. Someone's asking about when we start. We usually start right around that 1st of December, just depending on kind of what days it falls on. And I think the December 1st is a Saturday, so we'll be open Saturday and we'll switch over at that point in time to just Saturdays from then on all the way through, usually the first part of March in that area, first part of April. So,
Rethink Beresford meeting, I can maybe talk about this.
Yeah.
On December 7th, 7:30 a.m., the chamber and the committee that has been working on the Rethink project and also developing a Everything Beresford website is hosting basically a breakfast and learn. And they have requested multiple times that the council members that are available to attend. They're going to roll out kind of their plan. They've got a website they've been working on a lot the last couple months. But they'd like to kind of showcase what their plans and goals are with that. I think they usually set their meetings at an hour, so it's 7:30 to 8:30, usually with a pretty firm cutoff. And Christmas party on January 4th.
that was an open day, wasn't it? We had at the bridges, so.
I asked Mike if he could pencil us in until we were able to talk to everyone and get an approval. We have tended to, wait until the first weekend in January for the party.
Is this the year that they cater, or is this the year that this is the catering?
This is where we hire out.
Okay. What's that?
You don't have to. Nobody prepare.
No, I think they switch off every year, so this is a catering year?
catering year. According to Mike.
What time does that start usually?
So it's a Friday, so we usually have a social 6 to 7, and then meal at 7.
Any discussion on that?
Any suggestions for caterers? Would we want to stay local? Do we want to?
Let's check with them first,
Okay.
check with locals first.
Sounds good to me. How about you, Tom?
What?
Stay with locals,
Caters.
the Christmas party.
Well, I prefer that.
Fine. She's a local.
Have a city party and have Hayward cater it. Good.
Well, we're trying to help the other towns that kind of poor.
So are we.
Are you in charge of this?
Yes,
You have help? You have help?
the girls are really good about helping. Would you like to help? Would you like to be the entertainment?
I'd be happy to help us. I
I
love talking about
I
this.
think we're gonna request Mr. Kropinski into doing some
He-
team spirit for us.
It's one heck of a YMCA.
Yes,
So
yes.
Does he know that yet?
No,
Okay.
it's better when he does.
He doesn't.
Don't put that in the minutes.
It's on YouTube.
Oh, we'll talk later.
okay,
I would encourage you to work with Jerry and find whoever in the city can maybe donate some time to help out with whatever needs to be done.
it doesn't usually take too much.
Travel requests, a motion to approve two travel requests to Pier and Sioux Falls for Talbot Company.
Erickson moves to approve.
Wayne second.
Motion made by Erickson, seconded by Levine to approve travel requests. All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Motion carries. We have a motion to pay the bills.
So moved.
Made by Boone, seconded by Erickson to pay the bills. All in favor, say aye. Opposed, motion carries. Do we have an executive session?
Yeah.
Okay. A motion to enter into executive session for personnel. Delaney, motion seconded by Boone to enter into executive personnel at 8:44. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Thanks, Tom.
Yeah.
Jeff.
See ya.
How's business? How's business?
It's going.
Yeah. Things are good.